Tourists from all over the world flow into Beijing every day. Most choose mainstream modes of transport. They climb aboard tour buses with rigid agendas. They shuffle down hallways and squeeze into subway cars. They clog the roadways in taxis or private cars. Congestion and frustration have been synonymous with Beijing tourism for decades, but one Canadian entrepreneur, Nathan C., wants to change all of that. Visitors can now avoid some of the noise and chaos that comes with trekking around Beijing by renting electric bikes and partaking in tours hosted by Beijing Electric Bike Tours. Founder Nathan C. has built his tours around electric bikes, and the routes he has designed provide a new perspective on popular Beijing destinations or explore areas not often visited by tourists. To find out more on how it all works, we followed Nathan and his guide to explore the route in detail. Generally, riders meet at Xiqikou subway station and prepare for departure. Then the guide will take them to Xianyukou Street through some small traditional Beijing hutongs.
Well, this street is called Xianyukou. This means a fresh fish market because in the past there was a river here. On the river there was a bridge. Usually fishermen sell their fish in front of the bridge. Later, the market formed, and then this street was given the name Fresh Fish Market.
What are they selling here?
Yeah, this must be the Beijing roast duck.
After passing through this traditional street, they'll go to Dashilan to explore Beijing's old history.
How much is this?
800
800 RMB,
你看这
which
上
is
面的花
around
纹
more than $100.
看啊，不是那个啊，对对。
These antiques are full of history, but the Forbidden City has much more to offer with its splendid history and eye-catching views of the palace. Nathan's tours have a special way to get there. Riders glide along the path near the east gate of the Forbidden City, surrounded by the moat and Zhongshan Park, giving tourists a unique impression of the area.
This is the Forbidden City. Forbidden City is the palace of Emperor in Ming and the Qing Dynasty. It was built from 1406 to 1420.
His website has attracted many tourists. Since its launch in 2009, there have been many overseas tourists who have experienced Beijing in a new way thanks to Nathan's tours. Those travelers preferred electric bikes because, compared to the alternatives, travel by electric bikes is faster, more flexible, and provides a unique way to explore the city. E-bikes are also a good way to avoid Beijing's daily traffic jams.
Wow, it's such a great feeling. I've been here before, just taking walk, but it's around 5 kilometers, so it's a pretty big area. Totally different feeling. You go around areas, you stop a little bit, and the guide explains to you the routes and the history behind this area. And going through this, hutongs, the traditional Chinese buildings, is a great experience.
普通的方式就是你只是去故宫、天坛、颐和园、长城这几个地方，这就像几个点，你就空降到那个点，然后你不知道你怎么来的，你不知道他们之间的联系，甚至但是我们这个电动车呢，就是把所有的地方串联起来，你知道每一个地点在城市的哪个位置。
Nathan first came to Beijing to work for an education group to do course materials and books managing, but staying here for long was not on his mind.
I moved out to Beijing, well, the first time it was in 2003. It was really tough to live. No Western food. There was just, McDonald's, KFC, that was about it for food. So 2004, I ended up leaving.
But in 2007, he decided to return.
2007, though, was a real interesting time in my life where things back home were a little bit more free, I guess. I just broke up with my girlfriend. I ended up just selling shares in a company that I was working at that time. So I was really just free and open. And I picked up all my remaining belongings and then moved here. So even my dog, actually.
This time, Nathan just wanted to be a normal tourist in Beijing to spend his free time traveling and never thought of starting his own business here. But a friend's visit changed his view.
Which actually came more accidental than anything. Again, after I moved here for about a year or so, one of my friends came to visit. At that point in time, I had an electric bike already. just something I've used myself. My friend was also, he was a big rider, and I said, you know what, why don't you try this out? I've never seen anything like it. It's a great way to get around town. So he ended up taking it around. He went around the corner. Maybe 5 minutes had passed, 10 minutes had passed. So I was getting kind of worried, like, I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he got lost, maybe something happened. He came back and he said, the first thing he walked through the door was, wow, that was amazing. And I was like, what was amazing? And he's like, oh, well, I got lost in some back alleys or something like that around my neighborhood. So at that point in time, he just blurted out accidentally, you should do this as a tour business.
Excited by the convenience of this new mode of transport, Nathan fell back in love with the city. He rediscovered the beautiful history and culture hidden within this busy and modern city. He wants to shout this new love from the top of Jingshan and tell the world about his new love. Therefore, his friend's encouragement gave Nathan the confidence he needed to begin his business.
And now it's my opportunity to give something back to the expat community, to show a lot of tourists really what Beijing is all about.
Nathan started the Beijing Electric Bike Tour website in 2009. All his guides are part-time and can speak English well because most of his customers are foreigners. Nathan provides each of his guides with special training for each route they take. Tourists of various backgrounds and age are attracted to this new way to explore Beijing.
There was an older gentleman who signed up for our tour. He was quite old. I'm guessing maybe 70, 75. I mean, this is just I never asked him, but he had a very interesting experience. He was kind of really bent over and really seemed like he had a lot of trouble just kind of making it to our bikes. So that was again another situation where I said, you know what, I don't know if this is going to be the perfect tour for you. But so we went through the orientation. I gave him all the training. This is what to expect. And at the end of the day, he had an amazing tour, just zipping around, keeping up with everybody else.
Nathan's startup proved to be successful, but it was also full of obstacles. Differences between Chinese and Western thinking were the first challenge to overcome.
Chinese, again, it's a very interesting culture. Culturally, Chinese, from this survey, think that electric bikes are a little, they call it noming. It basically just means farmer. So when Chinese people say electric bike tours, immediately in their head it pops out to this very, very, I guess, poor, not enough money to take a tour. And it just never panned out. They don't see it from a foreign perspective where it's freedom, whether it's the wind in your hair, whether it's the two-wheel experience.
Such a cultural difference made it difficult for Nathan to expand in the Chinese tourism market, so he began to focus only on foreigners. But this is not the only difficulty that he's experienced.
Again, when I first started my website, I started out with a www.com. Again, that's kind of the ideal website to go with. But for some reason, it kind of got blocked by the censors in China. I don't know why. They'll never ever tell you why. But again, it worked for about 6 months. After that, it just stopped working. If you were inside China, you just couldn't access, BeijingElectricBikes.com. So I immediately had to switch over to a .net address, and I believe the Chinese government doesn't really kind of regulate that as much. So that one has been working well with us all this time.
These hardships he went through taught him lessons on how to do business in China. Dealing with the relationships of guanxi in China was one of them.
In China, they overuse the word guanxi a lot, which is just relationships. And I have to say that still follows through very, very, very significantly in China. If you guys can really develop the guanxi, the relationship, that is what's going to make business and the development of your business easier. Anywhere in China, basically, not just Beijing. But get to know a lot of people, talk to them, cultivate that relationship, give them small gifts, give them small, it doesn't have to cost a lot, but things that just kind of keep you in the forefront of their minds. And then when you do need to do something, when you really need to kind of pull the trigger and ask them for a favor, they're going to be a lot more receptive to helping you with that particular favor versus if you had not met them or if you've not cultivated that relationship as much.
Nathan's hard lessons started to bear fruit quickly. In the workshop where he initially fixed damaged e-bikes, now he has started to assemble high-speed electric motorcycles called Evoque motors that can reach speeds over 100 kilometers an hour. He spotted an opportunity to sell high-speed electric bikes on overseas markets where people are not yet familiar with this mode of transportation.
So imagine these electric scooters, which are scooting around Beijing all the time, and let's take them to the next level. How can we make them quicker? How can we make them on par with motorcycles? So we've been working on it for about a year or so, but we've been developing electric motorcycles. We have basically gas motorcycle frames that we take and we convert into electric powered. Well, we start off with an actual motorcycle frame. So at that point in time, our first step is really just to take everything down and then install the battery box that we have here. You can kind of take a look at it on our finished product, which is right here. We have a battery box, which is in place of the motor itself. After we install the battery box and the batteries, we end up working on the rear tire, where we use a hub motor, which is basically an electric motor built inside the wheel itself. So it's very easy to install, very easy to service, very easy to maintain.
Combining his knowledge of several foreign markets, he knew that this technology could bring about a big change in Western markets. His vision is grand, but the process remains slow.
We've sold a couple of units overseas already. It is a challenging aspect right now. We are still going through quite a lot of paperwork, quite a lot of certification. Every single country has its own set of rules, its own set of Department of Transportation.
Besides business, Beijing has given Nathan an opportunity to meet his wife Mandy, originally from Anhui province in China. Mandy supports his business endeavors, although she's a little worried about his safety.
She loves electric bikes. She hates motorcycles. I keep telling her they're electric, so they're no different from an electric scooter. But in her mind, as soon as the body type changes, as soon as it gets a little bit bigger, she has this other sense of fear, I guess. You know, at the end of the day, wherever you go, wherever you are in the world, motorcycling is more dangerous than a car, but that excitement, that thrill is still there. She's not 100% supportive of the motorcycles. She says, do the business, do as much as you want with the business, just never ride it.
Nathan has already sold 8 electric motors abroad from his workshop, but it's a big challenge to promote these kinds of vehicles in China, where high-speed motorcycles, even those powered by electricity, are highly regulated. "33-year-old Nathan views the city as his second home. But what exactly is his feeling about Beijing after 10 years of staying here?
It's been an amazing city. It's treated me very well in terms of business, in terms of life. It doesn't rain here. And all that means is that I can pretty much walk out of my door every single day, hop on my electric motorcycle or my electric scooter, and go to work without having that fear or needing a raincoat or an umbrella or anything like that. Right now I'm kind of really focusing a lot on my businesses. Hopefully when the time comes that we do choose to move back home to Vancouver, I believe I'll be going on a back-to-back basis. So I'll be maybe half the year there, half the year back home.
Starting from electric bike tours and expanding to assembling high-speed electric motorcycles, Nathan's efforts have proved to be a successful business endeavor. A career that was sparked by a friend's encouragement has grown into a steady business, and we hope it will make a difference to the world in years to come.